Hey guys, I'm Chris from the Silver Symbol channel, and in today's video, we're going to be trying out two brand new lawn aerators that you can actually purchase yourself for your own home. Lawn aeration is the process of making a bunch of holes in your lawn. You're actually removing a small plug of soil, and now things like water, air, fertilizers can all get into those holes, and they spread out much easier to the root system of your lawn. Additionally, you can use lawn aeration to seed your lawn. I made some pretty popular videos showing you my technique where I aerate my lawn first, and then I go ahead and I overseed my lawn, and you will get much better germination than if you simply just tried spreading that seed across the surface. Now, aeration is great. The trouble is most people either needed to buy a machine or rent one. They're very expensive machines, and a lot of people just don't have a vehicle, or they're not interested in renting a machine and kind of lugging it home back and forth. So the idea that these new core aeration tools that you can actually own would work is a huge deal. These are using a solid cast iron core in the middle. You've got to get those cores into the ground to remove the soil. You can only do that by having a lot of force or a lot of weight or a combination of both. When it comes to manual tools, you're not going to have a lot of force because it's just you doing it. But if you go too heavy, you can't handle the tool. Now, before you aerate any lawn, you need to be sure that you're mowing your lawn short. I started off here with a lawn that was about 3 inches long, and that is way too long to aerate. So I would recommend mowing your lawn down to either an inch up to 2 inches, which is what I'm going to do here. Additionally, don't aerate a dry lawn. You're just not going to get good core removal, and it's going to be much harder on you. Anytime you've got some water, which kind of acts as a lubrication, you'll make a job like this a lot easier. So run your sprinklers or hand water the lawn prior to doing aeration, give it a little time to soak in, and now we're ready to start. They offer this thing in two versions, a single row of cores or a double row. I'm going to try them both out today, and we'll see what kind of results we get. This thing does weigh about 50 pounds, so for some people, maybe that's too much. Sorry, little frog, you okay? Can I get out of here? Oh, there we go. I honestly cannot believe how good this is working. Look at the size of these. Look at the size of these cores. Now, my dirt is really dry. We haven't had a lot of rain. You can see that, but look at those cores. These cores are about an inch, maybe inch and a half. But it's not just that, it's the holes. That is amazing. I mean, you can clearly see all these holes. You can see how this works. The cores go in. That is really remarkable. Now, I'm sure cutting low and the water helped too, but I mean, this is just a manual tool. Now, for years, I've tried all sorts of things, the spike aeration shoes, all that stuff is crap. This thing is actually removing cores of soil from the lawn. Now, many of you are going to say this thing's too small, and maybe it is, but the other option, again, is buying something or renting it, and that is a lot more work. If you've got one of these in your garage, you're likely going to use it a lot more often. So far, the single row tool is absolutely working. Another trick I learned is you don't really have to make turns with this tool. You can make bends, and that's not a problem if you're going in the same direction, but when you want to reverse, there's no reason to kind of turn this thing around and tear up the end. Just flip the handle around and you can go the other way. But now I want to try the biggest one that they have, which is their double, because a model like this could allow a DIYer to aerate their lawn a lot faster because you're simply removing more cores. Once I lug this over to a space that I haven't already aerated, I started pushing it, and now right away, I'm noticing a big change. This one is way easier to push than that single row tool. But there's a big difference here. This double version is only removing cores that are maybe a ½ inch to 3/4 of an inch long. And though I do like the fact that it's much easier to push, I'm not liking these shorter cores. I really would prefer the longer ones. It just comes down to physics. You've only got so much weight here that you can push these tines, or whatever you want to call them, down into the soil. Now that we've doubled the amount of them, there's just simply not enough force to push them in as far. Now, for some people, maybe these smaller cores are okay. If you're going to do something like overseeding, this would actually work out even better. But for overall aeration, I am finding the single version of this tool works much better in getting deeper cores on each pass. Now, in terms of prices, I'm not telling you these things are cheap, but they are way cheaper than buying any sort of professional aerator or even renting a tool. You could pay for this thing in just a few rentals. The only negatives I see here really are some of the build quality around the handle. When I look at this double version of the tool, you can see this handle is a little bit crooked. Now maybe if I reverse some of these parts and rebolted it together, it would be a bit more straight. But in terms of using the tool, I didn't really see any difference from this. But if I was going to be using these long term, I would spend some more time bolting them together a little bit more securely. I might even consider running a weld along these joints. And after testing both of these, I can say the single row version of this tool absolutely blows me away. These cores look good. And this video was kind of short, but I think that's all it needs to be because we're just punching holes in the lawn and determining if these tools work or not. But if you've got questions or you have things you want to say, please leave me a comment below. And if you liked this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up and please consider subscribing to the Silver Symbol channel for more videos coming up.